Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and I am the president and CEO of an organization called MillionKids.org. Not 1 million, not a million, not 5 million, just simply MillionKids.org. And we're a local organization here in Riverside. We've actually been in business now over 15 years. And for the last probably 12 of that, our organization, Million Kids, has been working with the Riverside County Sheriff Department to combat human trafficking and online social media exploitation. And we work all throughout Southern California. In all honesty, I work all across the United States and also do a lot of work of training other agencies within the state of California. So I am what they call a post-certified law enforcement trainer, meaning peace officers standardized training, and work over at USC as an instructor for law enforcement in this. Actually participated in the original curriculum development for the state of California law enforcement. So I have many, many years combating trafficking and especially online social media exploitation. And my thing right now is just to train the trainer. We're getting a little bit older and we got a lot of young, smart people out there that want to be leaders. They just need the facts to be able to know how to be able to go about doing it in a legitimate manner rather than just throwing out a bunch of numbers and trying to scare people. And so there are some amazing individuals with just a substantial amount of talent that are willing to pick up the mantle, not just in Riverside, but also in San Bernardino County and LA and Orange County. And so that's kind of what our organization does. So I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you in this show today. Last week, we talked about the power of fear and how fear can be something that can immobilize you, but it can also be something that motivates you. That once you recognize that there's a change coming on, something that might be a bit intimidating, that fear can drive you to developing a quality plan, a strategy to deal with the change that's coming on in your life. I'm no different than all of you. I am a person, I see change. I gather up all my well-known goodies and protect them. And you can't have them, and I am not interested in change. Thank you. And it's very easy to be set in your ways and handle things that way. But you simply can't survive in today's world if you're not willing to change with it, because change is coming to us at the speed of light all day, every day, all around the world. And that's what I want to talk about that a little bit today. Last Saturday, I had the privilege of doing a large webinar for people that were connected to various faith-based organizations across the United States and even some in Africa and Australia and around the world. And what they were looking for is how to deal with all of this changing technology in a way that supports the faith-based effort, that supports the mission, that supports the vision of having people stay close to the Savior, stay close to God, and yet still be able to deal with all the changes in the world. And I wanted to share some of that information with you. I thought maybe that might help you in accepting the change that's out there. What has happened since COVID is our world, the entire world, not just Southern California, not just Riverside, not just you, but the entire world has experienced a technology transformation unlike we've ever seen in history. And this really accelerated after COVID. It was an interesting impact, COVID, on people's lives. Not only did you separate and go home, but so did your children. And that put a lot of very young kids online that normally would not have been online. It put our teenagers online in a lot more time than they normally would. But it also put executives and people that normally go out into a corporate world. Now they're in isolation at home using, Zoom or Skype or, Microsoft Teams. That's what it's called, Microsoft Teams. I'm still learning that. Speaking of change, anyway. And so it put people at home where you don't have so much camaraderie and like that. But at the same time, this was happening, our world was connected by 5G high speed internet. And that changes crime and crime solving in a big way. And we have to prepare our societies as well as our faith based community about what that means. And that's kind of what I want to share with you today, the impact of having a global, a worldwide connection of high speed internet, putting third world countries who have almost no money and a huge amount of corruption online with us and our children. I want to talk about things like mass audience live streaming, which are things like Roblox, okay, and TikTok and Fortnite and all of those games and platforms where our kids go on, where they connect to millions of people. It changes everything. On the top of it, we saw a big influx of little kids, inexpensive tablets, and video games for small children that put little kids online, or at least in the technology world. And let me tell you, it is addictive. You go ahead and try to get that away from your 3-year-old. You better have protection gear on you if you're going to do it. But quite frankly, you're no different. You take your device to the bathroom with you to entertain yourself and to while you're playing some video game and instead of having a constructive conversation. So we all have these tablets that we didn't have 5 years ago. Your 6-year-old wouldn't have had a tablet 5 years ago. We have a coming on global digital currency, and your kids have been using it all the time with Bitcoin. But that means that people from all over the world can do transactions with you and your children, which is kind of cool if you want something from Amazon Prime and you want it before 4 o'clock tomorrow. But it is also kind of scary when you realize it is your kids that are being reached and they know exactly how to pay somebody off if they're being blackmailed. We have geolocation software. Almost all your apps and your dating sites have that on them. So think about this. Your 14-year-old girl goes on the dating site, and what do? They offer up the guy that's closest down the street. And the guy says, hey, you're cute. Let's meet up, because they can tell where this person is at. We now have a huge onslaught of animated sexual pornography, and much of it is on a cell phone. Think about how addictive that is. That cell phone's laying on the seat of your car while you stop at a street light. It's in your hand while you're walking around a store. It is right in front of you, and it always was addictive. But now your mind says, well, it's animated, so it doesn't count. So does your 12-year-old son, who's looking at it going, well, Mom, it's just, a cartoon. It's nothing big. But we're handing this to our kids while they're going through puberty, and they're taking place on apps that most parents and grandparents don't know how to check. And then, of course, we have artificial intelligence. We hear about that day and night anymore, and it will change our lives, some of it for the better and some of it for the worse. So we're entering in literally a technology transformation that few people are stopping to really understand what is going on and what this is all about. And more important, how it's going to change parenting and raising kids, because this is the first generation of young people that can reach the entire world, but they are also the first generation that can be reached by the entire world. So how on earth do we prepare them to literally live in a world without borders and a home without walls? Because the things that we always knew, the things that we went back on, was, shut that device off, spend time with family, go for a walk, be close to kids. And they didn't have to understand what is real and what is not real. And that is going to be one of the hardest challenges for this next generation. I do a huge amount of research. I read those articles and I say to myself, is this true? Who is writing this? Look at all the ads they're trying to give to you, and their headline doesn't match the article. So how do we teach our kids to read these articles and discern what's truth? This is Opal Singleton. We're coming up against that break, so stay with us. We're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or a Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, the host of your show, and we are with an organization called Million Kids. millionkids.org, not .com. That's a rock band. You don't want them. Well, you might want them, but you wouldn't get us, okay? So I would encourage you to go to millionkids.org and sign up for our newsletter. And that way we don't pound you. I'm probably the worst fundraiser you ever saw. That's unfortunate because we could use more money and more donations, but that's okay. We don't pound you. We're here to educate you. And so there's a couple of ways to do it. Go to millionkids.org and just sign up for the newsletter. If you're on Facebook, and you'll find I'm not a fan of Facebook, but we're using it to educate you, we have a regular Facebook page at Million Kids. And I think it says Million Kids Sacramento or it's something at this point. And we're not in Sacramento for what it's worth, but that's us. And there's a whole history behind that. You don't want me to go there. Anyway, but we also have Million Kids supporters. That doesn't mean you have to send us money. It just is a place that is a private place on Facebook that I can educate the public about things like human trafficking and online social media exploitation and all of these kinds of technologies that are driving the change in our society. So go to Facebook, put in Million Kids Supporters, ask to join. I'll let you in. It might take me 12 hours or 24 hours, but you'll get in. And it is a place where I post new cases of all kinds. And everything I do, I have tens of thousands of hours of research. That's why I'm a law enforcement trainer, is I've studied almost every case in the United States and many around the world related to things like gangs and cartels and money laundering and trafficking and social media exploitation and child sexual abuse materials, formerly known as child pornography, and the dark web and bulletproof hosting and like that. And I post articles on there, and that gives me a private way to do it because I don't want to go out and start talking about gangs and cartels. I like living a while. Anyway, but that's a great way to educate yourself is go to Facebook, Million Kids Supporters. So all this technology changes the way we solve crimes, investigate crimes, and prosecute crimes. And it is changing very quickly. One of my concerns here is that there are many activities out there that is raising a huge amount of money for gangs and cartels, like the open borders, like coyotes that are out there, like gun selling, like drug selling, like literally online sex ads, generate billions of dollars a year out there. And so the bad guy is getting all the good technology first while we're out here defunding police and making laws that make it nearly impossible for law enforcement to investigate a lot of this. And I say, if we ever got anything wrong, it is that. And that we need to change that dramatically. We ought to be funding police and law enforcement of all types so that they can get the technology that they need to be able to investigate these crimes. These crimes are taking place online. You know, the cartels are reaching our kids through video gaming. They're literally recruiting our kids into sex trafficking, and they recruit our kids into doing things like drug trafficking and like that because they can invest in the technology. And at the same time that's happening, all of this crime and crime investigation should be taking place with the best technology when, in fact, we're having bake sales to keep our guys on the street and being able to function. We got this all backwards. It is important, very important, to fund law enforcement in a very big way, especially for technology, so that when they come in the morning, they have the facts. Now, it looks like that on TV. I watch International FBI and some of those. I go, it isn't like that. Trust me. That looks real good on TV. They can whap that baby up on a screen and know exactly who the person is and that they're 6 blocks down the street in a blue car. They can do that. But they have the technology in that movie that isn't real and how it really goes. And we must get funding for our law enforcement and our district attorneys so that they have the technology to see it and be able to investigate it. So how much has technology changed these crimes? Well, what happened is there's an organization called National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If you look at those initials, that's NCMEC, we formally and lovingly call that NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is the old John Walsh, if you ever watched America's Most Wanted. And it is a huge organization, one of the biggest in the world, for taking the leads on different kinds of crime, taking reports on their cyber tip line. And they take these from all over the world, but heavily the U.S. In 2023, what happened is looking at online crime that is related to human trafficking, child sexual abuse, and child exploitation from online, they took 32 million reports, okay? Now, that is on average 87,000 reports a day. That's on online sexual abuse. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you and tell you that is not 87,000 mothers who called in and said, my child's being abused. It's about that's 87,000 a day, and that is 32 million a year. About 4 million of them are literally leads that either parents or teens or someone called in and said, this is a case of trafficking, this is a case of social media exploitation, sextortion is the common word for that, and like that. So about 4 million of them were people calling in. The other 28 million was Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and one other, I can't remember who it is right now. And they were forced, because of the change of the laws, they were forced to scrub their platforms. And what I mean by that is they run bots and algorithms looking for any kind of image that might be illicit or sexual in nature of someone under the age of 18. And when they get that, they pull it out and they send it off to NCMEC, who then sent it out to the local law enforcement agency to investigate it. So once they started doing that, they found 28 million images. Now, who's putting these online? Who is this that's doing it? A lot of them are our kids. I think I mentioned last week on the air that the Thorn organization, who I highly respect, it was actually started with Ashton Kutcher. He's no longer there because of some politics, but honestly, they say that 1 out of 6 boys, no, I've got that wrong, 1 out of 5 boys and 1 out of 6 girls have sent a nude or an illicit photo to an adult they have never met. And they have done that online. And that is the fastest way to find yourself in exploitation, find yourself being blackmailed. But many of these kids will make their own nudes and put them out there. And a lot of them think they're going to be amateur pornography stars. There were about 9 million of those that sent them into Pornhub because they were advertising that you could be a porn star and make a lot of money. And about 9 million minors sent in their photo. So once a photo is online, it can be used in many different ways, and you will never get it back. And sometimes, if you send it to the wrong guy, it can go out to 1 million other pedophiles in a heartbeat. And our kids don't seem to realize that. But this takes us back to the global connection with 5G high-speed internet. All of that is possible now because the entire world was connected by internet. A world without borders for you and your children is also a world without borders for bad guys, for pimps, predators, pedophiles, and like that. And once they have your child's photo in their hand, your life and your child's life can change forever. Well, what is happening is that this 5G high-speed internet is going out to places like Nigeria and Ivory Coast, Pakistan, Philippines, Belize, and they bring in their children and form telemarketing centers to seduce our children. Sometimes they also seduce our elderly, like in scams related to timeshares or romance scams. These kids are not always there willingly. They're being controlled, but they have the ability to seduce in our kids. The minute the photo goes out, it goes into the really hardcore thugs, and your child's life changed forever. So this is really important to understand the impact of technology on crime in our community. It's break time. Be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift, Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. We are talking about the impact of the technology transformation on crime and crime solving. So what has happened here is that they have the National Center for NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, took 32 million reports last year related to online child sexual reports. Now, that doesn't mean 32 million kids got violated or were blackmailed, but it's the potential. These are the reports that somebody reported. The FBI and also the Child Crime Prevention Center said that at any given minute, there are more than 500,000 pedophiles online at any given time. 500,000 pedophiles. So how do we prepare? How do we teach our children this so that they know what the odds are when they go online? That, because every kid I ever met thinks it's not going to happen to me. They all think they're going to know if they're being catfished. But I guarantee you, these people are sophisticated and your child will not know. And today there are literally way too many very fine young people who are straight A students. This is cream of the crop kids that get caught up in sending a nude and being blackmailed. The FBI crime statistics indicate that more than 50% of the victims that are being blackmailed, let me say this again, more than 50% of victims that are being blackmailed are ages 12 to 15 years old. My first thought on that is we are putting kids online as they're going through puberty, and they're looking for love in all the wrong places, and it is like cheese on a mousetrap. It's that simple to lure so many of these kids in. FBI crime statistics say 90% of contacts are made through chat rooms and instant messaging. Think about this, Mom and Dad. How often are you in a chat room with your child and know exactly who they're talking to, especially with these very sophisticated video games? I think one of the other things that is important is to understand how video games have changed. If your child's playing a video game, I highly recommend you sit with them. It'd be smart if you got an avatar and played with them so that you can have honest conversations with them about the impact of it. But if you're thinking you're not that good yet, at least sit with them and say, who's that? And what's this all about? And who's doing what? And like that. You will be amazed at the amount of avatars that are attacked sexually in the middle of a video game. And many of them, do things so that they can get credits, they can get points, they can get compensation so that they can get their way out of a jam or get promoted within the group. But the thing that is interesting to me in this conversation is kids that play a lot of video games. Now, there's some positives about video games, and there's some positive video games out there that I bet it isn't the one your kid is choosing, okay? And I'd encourage you, if you go online and find out that your kid is really taking the high road, be very, very proud of them and let them know that. But if they're out there playing in a world, it isn't a thou shalt not conversation. It is a conversation to help me understand what's going on here. This girl was just sexually attacked by these 3 avatars. Is that okay with you? In this scene, they just shot a cop. Is that okay with you? And start to talk about all the things that are going on, because it is taking place in your child's world. But as long as it's a private world, nobody can really help your child grow through that and learn the right things to do. Now, I agree that just because a kid is playing a video game doesn't mean they're going to be violent and doesn't mean that they're going to be some sort of sexual pervert. I agree with that. But I also agree that our children are online with a lot of people they don't know being influenced. Many of them have geolocation software, so you know where your child lives, and they can gather everything about you. And all it takes is one screw up, and your child's life has changed dramatically. Last year, I was a co-funder of a movie that is now on Amazon and iTunes and Apple TV, and it's called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. And Amazon has it there regularly. And in that movie, one of the people that we had and filmed in the movie is a girl by the name of Sierra. She did not know it at the time, but she was being blackmailed for 2 full years. Now, in this case, it's gotten a lot worse now. Hers was about 6, 7 years ago. Now, this goes from A to Z very quickly, and they're not going to mess around. They're going to meet up with you, and your life is going to get difficult. But in her case, she did not know that she was being blackmailed by 12 different men, all making demands on her. And she said, I was getting up in the middle of the night. I was sneaking out of school trying to meet their demands. And then she found out that it was 12 different men. She could never have met all their demands. But in the meantime, they made it clear to her, I know everything about you. You talk about the power of fear that we talked about last week. What happens when you are being blackmailed and they tell you, we know everything about you. We know where you live. We know your little sister. We know what school she goes to. We know your mother. We know where she works. Here's a Google image of your house. How does that make your 13, 14-year-old feel and panic? And panic in such a way that they may or may not tell you if you don't develop a kind of relationship with them where you have a contract where they will reach out to you. I highly recommend that parents get a contract with anybody who has a device in their house. And that contract would say, every app you have on your phone, I'm going to have, and you're going to teach me how it works. And if I ever see a calculator on the front of your phone that is hiding all the other apps, you're going to give me the password, or we're not going to keep having you have a phone. But I want you to have the phone because you live in an age of technology. But I want you to live there safely, and I want to live there safely. So teach me every app and let me have every app. I want you to promise me that you will never, ever put anything online that will embarrass you or embarrass me. Now, we are about to enter the world of deep fakes, so it's very possible that your child didn't put anything online, but it's still out there and it's embarrassing. So talk about deep fakes, and part of your contract is you will never personally send anything that will cause you harm or cause your family harm, embarrass you, embarrass me. Number 3, the agreement will say that you will never ever sneak out of the house or sneak away from school or in any way go to meet up with someone you met online without discussing it with us together and developing a plan for your safety. And the 4th one would be, look, I believe in you. I think you're smart, and I think you have good judgment, and I think you don't take chances. And that's why I give this to you, because I believe in you. You may remember we sell I Believe in You coins for what it's worth. If you're interested at millionkids.org, they make great graduation gifts. But back to your agreement with your child, that if they get themselves in trouble somehow, that they will trust you enough to come to you, because many of these kinds of crimes that are online, no one person, I don't care how clever you are, how smart you are, no one person can solve it. When you agree that you can't go out and meet up, you should also put in there that you won't send anybody money that you met online, that they'll come and sit down and talk with you. All of these are important agreements to understand. First of all, to share with your child that you understand technology enough to understand what the potential dangers are, even if you don't recognize every scenario. And by the way, neither do they. But it tells your child that you love them, that you believe in them, that you are trusting them with the most powerful device on earth, and that is the power to be connected to the entire world. They can connect with you, you can connect with them, but it can change your life forever. So you're going to go in this as a partnership with a contract, and you're going to agree that hopefully they will never send anything out. But if they become a victim, if there's a deep fake out there that's been altered, or someone's wanting to meet up or blackmail them for money, that they will trust you enough to come to you so that you can develop a strategy. It is important that those are reported and reported to law enforcement, because your child is not their only victim. They have thousands of victims. It's break time, folks. We're going to be right back.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about the power of technology for good and for bad, but really how it's changing crime and crime solving. And all too often, it affects our kids. Hey, before I close this out, I wanted to share with you, I mentioned it last segment, Million Kids, it's getting graduation time, and I wanted to mention to you that Million Kids has an incredible graduation gift, something that will last a lifetime and probably more than their lifetime to their children's lifetime. We sell challenge coins. We sell them online. You just go to millionkids.org, millionkids.org. The challenge coin is something that will last generations to come. It is absolutely beautiful. It's made of high class metal. On one side, it says, I believe in you. And on the other side, it says, stand tall, you are loved. And we can sell them without a gift box for $20 and with the gift box for $25. You just go online to millionkids.org and say, give me X number of challenge coins. And they are fabulous gifts to give at graduation. They're good birthday presents and Christmas and like that. But graduation is especially important to let them know how proud you are of them and that you believe in them. I think that is just really one of the most impactful gifts. You know, when I decided to do the I Believe in You coins, it was on a personal level for me based on the fact that I lost my previous husband. And that's been about 7 years ago now. And about 5 years ago, I remarried. And I'm very, very blessed. But during those hard days of my life, I thought to myself, the most powerful gift my husband left for me before he passed, he knew he was going to die, is a letter where he talked about how he believed in me. And he wanted me to keep this ministry going even after he left. And I thought to myself, you know, the only difference between me and a foster kid is I have somebody who believes in me. And foster kids don't have that. A lot of kids from broken homes don't have that. A lot of kids that are living on the edge don't have that. And that's what makes them so vulnerable to being seduced online or meeting up with someone or wanting to be a porn star, is because they're looking for something, some way to excel and someone to believe in them. And that's why I created that coin. I thought to myself, as a grandparent, this is something that I can leave to my grandkids that will be passed down for generations to come. And so if you are interested, go to millionkids.org. I personally send them out in the mail for what it's worth. You can sign up online. You can use a credit card or you can send in a check. That's not a problem. And we will mail them out to you. But it's coming on graduation, so be sure and do it quickly so that we can get them out there in time. I want to close off with something in a comment about mass audience live streaming. Very few people stop to realize the difference between technology 5 years ago and technology today on how we're connected with people. You know, I had a mother came to me at one of the speeches I was making. She looked like a great mom, and she was all excited because her daughter wanted to be an influencer, and she was doing really, really well. And she had 1 million followers on TikTok. Well, if you're not on TikTok, you know, there's a lot of talk these days about TikTok and what do they do with your data. They do. Trust me. They know everything about you. By the way, Facebook knows everything about the people in China, too. So it's a different world out there. But so I talked to Mom and I said, you know, your daughter's doing really well on TikTok. Have you ever thought about how TikTok works? You know, and I'd like to just kind of address that. I mean, you and I still email, okay? Our kids don't email. They direct message. They do Instagram that goes out to millions of people. They do TikTok videos that go out to millions of people. And millions of people can reach our kids. It's a lot different than you and I sending an email or posting on the old-fashioned Facebook. Your kids are not on Facebook. That's because they're direct messaging and they're posting on things like they're playing on Roblox or they're playing on Fortnite and they're talking in the chat rooms. This is the reason why I told you that about that particular series that we talked about, that statistic that we talked about, that said more than 50% of the victims that are out there are ages 12 to 15, and 90% of them are contacted through chat rooms and instant messaging. Same kind of thing with TikTok or Byte or Like or Roblox and all of those video games. What you do is you reach out to millions of people. All a pedophile has to do is go into the right chat rooms and sign up and wait. Hey, baby, you're hot. Get me one of those photos. Meet me over on Instagram. I'm an agent. I'm going to make you an influencer. You're going to be Taylor Swift before this is over. And that kid hears everything they want to hear. And they believe that with all their heart because they can't tell what they're walking into. So when a pedophile or a predator, when you're talking to someone online and they move you from one app to the other, and then they tell you not to tell, and then they start in with the photos, run, 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 run. Okay, run, baby, run. Get the heck out of there. Because what happens in these big, massive chat rooms is that photo goes out to that pedophile. That pedophile can reach right back to your child, move them over to another app, promise them lots of things. And once they have that photo, their lives are changed. And our kid will never realize that what has happened to them. So we got to start and pay attention. It is not enough for us to say, you be careful on that thing now, okay? It is important that we get educated, that we be an informed leadership for our kids because they are the leaders of the next generation. If you think it's complicated now, just imagine where it's going to be in 2026, 2028. This is child's play when it comes to things like artificial intelligence and the deep fakes and altering images and being able to reach in a child's bedroom and being able to make offers to our child that sounds very, very lucrative. We are just getting started. I believe how we prepared this generation of young people to live in a world without borders and a home without walls, knowing that they're going to talk to millions of bad guys and they need to be able to stand against them because you can't tell which one's good and which one's bad until you've made a mistake and start paying the price. So we have to talk that way to our kids. And number two, we have to get agreements with our kids that if they find themselves getting caught, do not do anything crazy. Do not go out and panic. Do not try paying them off. Do not send them more photos. Come to me. We will get a strategy, meaning you, an adult. And yes, you'll have to report it to law enforcement. But your child is not their only victim. And very likely, if your child will report, they can find out who did this and stop them from hurting lots of other people. It's a different world out there. Sometimes, I get back to the power of fear. We can be afraid of this. We can put our heads in the sand, or we can decide this is the greatest challenge in all of history. And God has put us in this very place at this very time in the timeline of history. And we're going to take this on. And we're going to prepare that next generation, and we're going to teach our kids how to use technology for good in a way that empowers us, and how to be able to put up those blocks of people that have harm for us, because your child, if they're online, will encounter them. It is inevitable. And we're just getting started. So my name is Opal Singleton. The organization is called millionkids.org. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization with 15 years of history of keeping kids safe from predators. And this radio show is part of our ministry to be able to educate you and educate young people out there about how to live in a world without borders in a safe way. If you want to support our work, we would truly, truly appreciate it. So it's millionkids.org. If you want to support our work, hit that donate button or send us a check. I highly recommend if you've got someone graduating this year or a birthday or something, an anniversary, it's great for spouses coming up, that you order I Believe in You current challenge coin. They are beautiful. They'll last a lifetime, and they're very, very special. Folks, this is a complicated world we're living in. It's stressful for everybody, but let's empower each other. The power of fear can be a very motivating factor for us to decide we're going to face it and we're going to overcome it, and we are going to be leaders in the face of adversity. I hope you folks have a great week. I'd encourage you to tell your spouse you love them and that you're proud of them. Put your arms around your kids and let them know how special they are to you. You folks have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.